Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen Alpha 3.3 Live State of the Game for the Persistent Universe. In 3.3 Live, we have a host of new features, a ship shop, VoIP, object container streaming, FPS AI, new ships, missions, mining improvements, rest stops, and lots of quality of life stuff as well. But what's it like performance-wise? How does it fit together? Is it worth playing? And what does it need in the short term? Let's start with a too long didn't watch for people that just want a quick summary. Star Citizen 3.3 feels much more like a game in early access than it ever has done before, which is a significant improvement. That's mainly due to its performance gains in this update. There are a variety of other parts that all come together to make Star Citizen much more playable than previously. VoIP, face over IP, that's great fun, and quality of life improvements really help magnitudes. It is in dire need of an in-game sort of tutorial guide, sort of teach you each part of the game step by step, though. That is very lacking. You have to research Star Citizen before you play it. You shouldn't have to do that. There is also currently a 15006 account sync bug, so that basically means you have to keep on logging on from the launcher until it actually lets you log on. There are some workarounds which I'll come to later and I'll post them down below too. So that needs to be fixed with a permafix ASAP by CIG. There's also still a way to go before Star Citizen is akin to something that you'll have a reason to sit down and play for hours and hours without having to pre-organise an event or to be with the right group. Now, when I say right group, if you've got enough players with you, if you've got a few players that you play with, you can do some amazing things in-game. You can have some amazing experiences. You can set up fleet battles. You can set up, you can do the Scramble Races. You can do some of the missions. You get big fights on the go. You can mess around. There are some great things to be done. Star Citizen is beautiful and fun when it works and when you have things to do. 3.3.5 is coming in the next few weeks. And that should hopefully go a long way in addressing a lot of my other issues with the current game. That is likely something I'm going to be saying for at least the next 6 months, though. There are a load of phases and steps and features that we need for Star Citizen to bring it into more of the mainstream. That flight model, getting all those quality of life fixes in, access to all of those ships in-game via rental or purchase, actually ways of people being able to make enough money for that sort of stuff. Some more persistence. There's quite a bit there that we still want, but it is coming. Let's have a bit of a deeper delve into each of the little parts in this as well. So, VoIP and VoIP. VoIP has been needed for years. Voice over IP. We needed this in-game to be natively supported. It now works, and it's cool. It does need lots of polish and stuff as well. In the shorter term, you're going to get a mix of players that obviously we'll still use like Discord or some other third-party service. There are issues with VoIP, mainly for me stemming with the problem that there's not too many reasons to actually interact and initiate conversations with people. And when you do, it can be awkward. They might not even have a mic. Are they even on global if they do have a mic? There's lots of issues and problems that go down that. And it does need a load of polish. There are bugs and stuff as well. VoIP, however, so face over IP, is amazingly good fun and works surprisingly well. The refinement of these systems working together and then reasons for players to interact are going to really add to the immersion and social aspect of the game, and that's sort of like what they're going for now. But we also need more players and servers, reasons for players to fight and interact with each other and work together, that sort of stuff as well, and reasons to use VoIP and VoIP together. Performance and stability. So, 3.3 is superb compared to any previous release of Star Citizen we've ever had. I get frames ranging from 55 to 120, mostly within the 70 plus range. Actually, that's not entirely true. When I went to Levski, I think I hit around 35 frames at my lowest, but that was literally coming into land at Levski with a few other people around. Levski, still quite laggy. So they need to get object container streaming working for those more densely packed areas, or maybe there's something else going on there that I am not aware of. I haven't had a crash yet, touch wood, which is absolutely great. Stability seems really good. To be honest, it's like a whole new game with object container streaming. Combat feels so much better, and we'll come to combat in a minute because it feels better, but it still has a huge way to go. Everything looks great as well. It should be much better on a range of people's PCs as well. There is telemetry data that they've released as well, showing people's average frame rates and where sort of like category and sort of like minimum, maximum specs of Star Citizen, what you should be aiming for, like recommended PC wise. Missions. So mission accessibility is better than before, but it's not perfect still. Mission givers sometimes work when you have missions to talk to them, but sometimes they just don't and they're unresponsive. And this is also true of admin staff. When you've got those like get delivery boxes for missions, sometimes they just don't want to give you the box. They just don't have options to talk to. The cursor changes to say, yes, it knows you're supposed to be interacting with them there, but it doesn't have any options. So you have to abandon these missions, and that's annoying. But I was playing for around 5 hours and cleared all of the missions out that were available to me, except maybe a scramble race, but no one was probably going to turn up for that. But that's annoying, that there's not enough missions for me. FPS AI are a bit derpy. They kind of work in Security Post Korea mission to clear them out, but actually trying to do that mission can be quite annoying as well. A lot of the time, someone will be there already that just clears out the AI as you take that mission. So I can't even get there and do it a lot of the time. I've done it a few times. But the AI there, they're sort of very basic. They don't know that they're just not working together properly. They're all trying to follow exactly the same route a lot of the time. Now, I know they've been working on FPSCI for future builds, but we're talking about 3.3 here, and they're a bit derpy. They work, but barely. Scramble races are fun, but I would suggest going to a scramble race with a pre-organised group, as a lot of the time there won't be enough people to start the race unless you do that. So the races are pretty fun though. You go around collecting points from beacons and shooting up opposing racers. When you get a beacon, a new one will spawn, and it's pretty random where they spawn, so you'll constantly be crossing other people's paths. So it's a good sort of system there with scramble races. Another thing with the FPS AI is that there isn't really enough threat from them. That they don't really like aim at you properly, and you can take them all down with just your pistol. You don't need any other equipment, I found. Although it is always worth taking a medipen, an extra medipen with you, because if you bleed out from a single hit, you will be really annoyed because you didn't have your medipen. Mining, to me, at the moment, seems the best way to make Alpha UEC, and it's pretty polished as a gameplay loop. It's still very simple, but we can mine asteroids in space now and on the ground. They've done lots of polish passes and stuff with this stuff. And I find that asteroids are quicker and easier to find them and mine than rocks on the ground. I've been experimenting with purposefully blowing up asteroids and overheating them to try and collect the remnants quicker for certain trips and for asteroids that I wouldn't or quite hard to break down because of the instability and because of the resistance. Sometimes it's really, really hard to break down an asteroid, and there could be some juicy loot inside. So sometimes it can be sort of worth blowing them up to get some of the loot. But getting a good haul of something can make you tens of thousands of Alpha UEC in a single run at the moment. I mean, you have to get a good haul, but that can happen. And if you are willing to spend time looking and searching for these asteroids that will basically spawn in and pinging them down and looking for them, you can make a hell of a killing. Ship purchases. So you can purchase ships from Teach's Ship Shop now. It's something that we've needed in the game for ages, but it's going to be hard with this 3.3 implementation of it for casual players to buy anything beyond a Dragonfly at the prices listed. Unless they have a cargo ship, I suppose. If you've got a cargo ship, if you've got a prospector, then you can earn enough money to get these ships. So Dragonflies are 70,000, which is very obtainable, but prospectors and the Cutlass, that's 1.5 to 1.6 million Alpha UEC. So that's going to take a long time to grind. They are adding rentals, I believe, in 3.3.5, which is essential for players with just starter ships to get better accessibility to ships in-game and earn more Alpha UEC. Also, it will add more of a range of ships with New Deal and New Ship Shop coming. Now, yeah, Teachers, at least it has the basic implementation of purchasing ships in-game. And that shows that they can have a ship that you can purchase. It gets added to your Persistent Universe account, and then you can actually claim insurance back on it. Obviously, it will get deleted or removed, reset every time they have a major patch reset, so bear that in mind. I am hoping that something happens maybe when we have full persistence or something, that they'll say, yeah, we're not going to reset until the beta and the full release of the game, or something like that, so that we have longer windows to be able to grind and keep our Alpha UEC for. Group play and multi-crew is significantly better in this patch. There are some bits that now really warrant you having someone on a console or the MFDs, especially on larger ships, running power, weapons, shields, tweaking those systems, especially on like constellations or hammerheads especially. Turrets, when gyro stabilization is turned on, perform magnitudes better than previously, and actually makes the hammerhead fun to fight with all the turrets manned. Multi-crew battles and ships, very fun, very fireable. They can fight fighters now without the turret just going, no, I'm trash. They're not great, the turrets. They're just not super awful anymore. Time to kills for ships are far too low, in my opinion, especially for medium ships and larger. The Hammerhead is extremely weak compared to what it should be, in my opinion. The Hammerhead being one of my favourite ships now. It is a big Corvette-sized ship. I have actually played with 6 Hammerheads, with almost full turrets in all of them, and a bunch of fighters all fighting each other around Security Post Korea with constant 60+ frames. This, I think, was around a 40-player battle. It might be like 35 to 40 players. It was a big battle. It was extremely fun. The other new vehicles are cool as well. So the Valkyrie being really useful for pretty much every task other than cargo hauling in 3.3. Obviously, it can carry a vehicle, it can carry the Tumble Cyclone, so it's very useful for even Scramble Races and things like that. The Phoenix looks great, beautiful ship. I don't actually have one though. We have the Tumble Cyclone variants as well. These add a variety to Scramble Races and some cool stuff you can do on the ground. The one with the turret's pretty fun. The anti-air model is really fun to use with its EMP to repel ships or crash ships. I love the Mustang rework. I think it looks good, and the ship actually allows you to enter and exit it. And I like the way the wings fold up. It's a very, very viable starter ship now. The quality of life updates really show with shopping. You'll want to browse and buy upgrades for your ship and some of the cool armors and weapons for your character. They come pre-skinned as well, so you'll have to travel to the various locations to get certain items. I am looking to get my Sabre fully outfitted with military B-grade equipment, for example. Actually, going back to the Mustang, starter ships in general still have the problem where you can't carry mission cargo boxes. So what I mean by that is you get delivery and maintenance missions and pick up and deliver missions, that sort of stuff. And they're a large part of the game. With the mission givers as well, there will be missions where you need to do that. You can't do that in a starting ship. Well, you can glitch the items in, but obviously that is not appropriate. I thought you were going to be able to take out the cargo pod in the back of the Mustang and the Aurora, but you can't seem to do that. And I want to be able to put the mission crates in there successfully without having to try and glitch them in every time. So that does need to be solved ASAP, in my opinion. Pinging and scanning down enemies, minables, probes, that all works actually pretty well. It's mega simple though. Tab, left click ping, go here, ping again, or passively detect your target, probe or mission item. It helps signpost you at the very least. I can pick up boxes now without having to worry about me being mega glitched, or the box will like disappear from my hands or whatever when I try and place them, unless I'm trying to glitch them into my starter ship like an Aurora or my Mustang. Animations, so getting in and out of ships, that actually seems pretty solid now. Occasionally having an issue where looking into the ship won't render the walls or floor properly until you're inside, or ladders glitching and bugging out. I actually got killed by a ladder in one of my playthroughs earlier. I did a 5-hour playthrough, which was pretty good fun. The current major problem with this patch is an error 15006. So, as mentioned earlier, it is really annoying. That means that when you run Star Citizen and you actually go from the launcher, click launch, it might give you an error when you're after it started to load in, error 15006, account data update failed. The workaround being to just keep on trying to launch the game until you get into the menu and delete your user folder. That apparently helps. There is also a couple of homebrew fixes from Reddit and Spectrum. Some people say use a VPN, or adding a couple of routing rules in your host files. Apparently that solves that problem. I will link those fixes down below. But CIG are aware of the issue and should be fixing it as we speak. I'm hoping that this is a priority for them and they actually get it fit by the time the video goes out is what I want. Obviously, I think everyone wants that. But yeah, as I said, there are some other fixes and workarounds currently. Other than that, as I said, I got killed by a ladder, which was annoying. There are a few sort of like shadow and lighting glitches that I noticed. Some of the stock weapons on ships I find a bit weak, like the Freelancer, though that could be that I play with locked gimbals. Previously, the Freelancer would be able to rip apart ships when I hit them a couple of times with it. This time I couldn't even kill a Gladius with like 7 or 8 direct hits. So it just feels a bit weak. A bit on ship combat, actually. Ships' systems working and affecting each other is giving us a bit more depth. Loadouts and outfitting looks like it could be quite fun in the future. It's not quite there yet, but there's at least some sort of like customization of ships. At the moment, if you want to metagame, there are some broken builds, and the times to kill are very low. So often, if you're fighting someone with like a brutal meta build, then you can't even respond in time. If once they've attacked you, you're pretty much dead before you can do anything. That aside, that's aside, combat does feel much better, mainly because of the frame rate improvements, but it's still severely lacking with dogfighting, ESP, and that's still not great. The way that ships move and turn, but there's not much they can do about this in the short term. There isn't really going to be something that addresses this until 3.5, so March 2019, because that's when the new flight model is now planned to come out. There needs to be weapon and time to kill balance, disabling ships by shooting components off. There's sort of like attrition damage. That's all coming, but it's still missing currently. Battles are pretty though, very, very pretty. And combat, it feels loads better because of frame rates. Tutorials, there's still a bit of a disconnect with the player experience though. I'd like games like this to teach me what there is available and how to do that while I'm actually playing the game. At the moment, you have to actively research how to play Star Citizen before you play. Otherwise, for most people, not for all people, but for most people, it will be insurmountable to actually just jump into Star Citizen without knowing much about it and then just play it. Be like, what? So, what am I supposed to do? Why am I supposed to do it? What's going on? How are the buttons? Why isn't my ship going up? How do I open this door? I mean, people are getting stuck in their habrams, for heaven's sake. Accessibility to ship purchases and rentals for players are also clearly needed. And players that don't have a load of UEC, a prospector, or a large cargo hauler, then trying to have them grind up with a starter ship, enough alpha UEC to buy a prospector or something in a small time frame before they actually get their purchases reset is a bit unrealistic. More missions, quicker refreshing of missions is also direly needed. I cleared out all of my missions both times I've played and had to actually server jump to get to more, but there needs to be more gameplay and more things to do now. A lot of the stuff in Star Citizen I've done 1,000 times, and now that I have higher frame rates, that's great, but I need more things to do because everything is still fresh in my memory, even at the lower frame rates. It does feel great, but it just needs more now. Mission givers and NPCs need to work consistently. They far too often become unresponsive, literally blocking you completing a mission and content, which is infuriating. There needs to be, as I said, more things to do, but also more reasons to do them and more things to buy. But as we know, that is coming. And there's a good bit of polish and bug fixing that needs to be done as well. Star Citizen is, however, in the best state it's ever been, excluding that 15.006 error. If you are in an org or group and happy to plan your own events and content, then the game is your oyster and you can have an amazing amount of fun. Big sort of like capital ship battles with the Hammerheads even now, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot of ships now you can fight, and having large groups of players actually being able to exist in a space and fight each other is great. Scramble Races are pretty damn fun. You'll see things like the Daymar Rally and big organisations prosper with this patch. There is a long way to go for Star Citizen to be something a bit more tangible and mainstream, but the next patch, 3.3.5, should address some of my issues and add a much larger gameplay area. There isn't really enough to do in the current 3.3 patch that I haven't done before, as I said. Admittedly, it all works much better now at higher frame rates, but bring on Planet Hurston and Lorville. Really, really need that. Once Hurston's in, the game is going to massively benefit from more gameplay loops like salvage, repair, refueling, which are coming in the future. Unfortunately, that 3.3.5 patch is currently in the Evocati PTU and hopefully should be going to a wider PTU shortly. But please tell me what you think in the comments below. Have you been plagued with that 15.006 error? Do you hate it when I call it 15.006 error rather than 15,006 or some other collection of numbers? If you haven't had that problem, then what are your experiences with 3.3 Live, or are you waiting for a later patch? Also, as soon as that error is properly fixed or addressed, I will put it to the top of the comments so you can see what's going on, or if there's a better fix that turns up as a short-term workaround. If you don't have Star Citizen yet, be sure to create an account with the links below to receive 5,000 UEC, the in-game currency, as a bonus, and to participate in any free flight. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For November, I am giving away a Saber Raven, Star Citizen game package, and a CitizenCon 2948 digital goodies pack. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning is be subscribed to my YouTube channel and comment on any of my videos made during the month. More details below. If you would like to further support the channel, the links to my Patreon and donations are down in the description below as well. If you are considering getting or upgrading your gaming PC for Star Citizen or any other game for that matter, instead consider the Shadow Cloud gaming service. It's a subscription-based service that leverages your internet connection to turn any appropriate device, whether it be an old PC, smartphone, tablet, and more, into a powerful Windows 10 gaming PC. It's been working well in the latest 3.3.0 PTU patch of Star Citizen. I'm going to try and maintain a best practices guide on my website as well. More information is available in the links below, and if you do decide to try it, use the code BoredGamer to get a discount. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the verse.